Number 2, stay with God. Stay with God. Have you seen the dramatic way? The dramatic way through which Saul was called? If you were ever going to be told that God will reject Saul, you would doubt it. Because of the dramatic way Saul was picked out by God. Very dramatic. 1 Samuel chapter 9 from verse 15. He said God told Samuel in his ears a day before. Look at verse 16. Tomorrow about this time I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin. Thou shalt anoint him to be captain, not king. Captain. He may save my people out of the hand of the Philistines. The only reason Saul was anointed was to bring Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. When he brought them out, he would have asked Samuel, what next? Because that was the only assignment. Now I have brought them out of the hand of the Philistines. Please, how do I step aside? Saul was disjointed. Why? He didn't stay with God. We can see the blueprint of Paul's demise and why the Lord took him out. God was very specific. It summarized everything about the life of Saul in that scripture. In 1 Chronicles chapter 10, from verse 13 to 14. It summarized his life. Why he died. Look at the screen. Read it loud and clear. Verse 14. Therefore he slew him. Slew him. From his inception, everything about Saul's life. I told you Saul means to be asked to do something. To be asked. Required of. Demanded of. The people saw that their nations had king. They asked for king. Saul waited for Samuel. Samuel wasn't coming. And the people asked Saul to sacrifice. Is that true? Even when Saul was to be killed, Saul could not be killed until he asked his servant to kill him. He asked his servant to kill him. Always asked. So he said, because God took him out. Because he disobeyed the Lord and the word of the Lord. Now that is a little bit confusing. Bring it up again. 1 Chronicles 10:13. Saul died for his transgression, which he committed against, there's a comma, even against, which he kept not. So he had a crime against the Lord and a crime against the word of the Lord. These are two separate entities. Are you following what I'm saying? Against the Lord. So what did he do against the Lord? What he did against the word of the Lord is different. But he did certain things against the Lord. 1 Samuel 13 from verse 9 to 15. And Saul said, bring a burnt offering to me. Go to verse 7. Let's start from verse 7. Verse 7. I want to get a proper understanding. Some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. Verse 8. He tarried 7 days, according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. And Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offering. And he offered the burnt. He was not a priest though. Verse 10. This is going to shock you. It came to pass as soon as he had made an end of the burnt. Behold, Samuel came. The Lord said, in 7 days, Samuel will come to offer the sacrifices. The 7th day, in the morning. Saul went out. 7 days has not totally ended. Hey! The 7th day in the morning. It's already 7th day. Okay. And as soon as it was done, bring it up. Let's continue from there. Behold, Samuel came and Saul went out to meet him that he might salute him. Verse 11. Samuel said, what hast thou done? Look at what he said. To me, this was a cogent and a salient point. Saul said, because I saw that the people were scattered. Scattered from God. From God. Scattered from me. And thou camest not within the days appointed, and the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Verse 12. Therefore said I, the Philistines will come down upon who? I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced. I don't know how it is done, but I had to force myself and offer the burnt offering. It was about him. About him. A people that he didn't qualify to lead. All of a sudden, he's struggling to keep. Go on. I'm going somewhere. Saul said unto Samuel, thou hast done foolishly. Yet thou hast not kept the commandments of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom forever unto Israel forever. Meaning, as when God picked him as a captain, God said, let me observe him. If he does well, I will establish him. Oh my God, nobody's hearing what I'm saying. God was saying, keep him as a captain. Let's observe him. If he does well, Samuel said, this was the only test you should have passed. If you had passed this test, you would have been established. But now your kingdom has been given to someone else. Go on. But now the kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord has commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee. Verse 15. You see how useless Saul was. And Samuel arose and got him up from Gilgal to Gibeah of Benjamin, and Saul numbered the people that were with him. They just took kingdom from you. They just took a kingdom from you. You are still numbering the people that are present with you. Verse 16. Saul and Jonathan, the people that were present with him, abode in Gibeah of Benjamin, but the Philistine encamped in Michmash. Is there 17? You can discover, and the spoilers came out of the camp in 3 companies. So battles began because God rejected him. So we can discover that one of the things Saul did against God was trying to help God. One of the things Saul did against God was trying to help God and trying to secure his territory, his own personal empire. 1 Samuel 15:17. Samuel said, when thou was little in thy own sight. We can see pride. This was a sin against God. Pride. Now, not the word of the Lord that he rejected. Now, these were personal sins. When you were little in your sight. Do you know this same Saul that became so power conscious? When they were looking for Saul, he hid himself in a bag of stuff. He hid himself. They had to go and look for him because he was the tallest among them. This was a man that didn't want power. He hid himself. Now power came, he became overwhelmed with it. Verse 17 of 1 Samuel 15. The Lord anointed to be king over Israel. Verse 18. The Lord sent thee on a journey and destroyed the Amalekite. We can see that he goofed again because he spared Hagag. Stay with God. Stay with God. Obey every instruction given to you by the Lord. 1 Samuel chapter 22 verse 17 to 19. Look at another thing Saul did. Saul was killing priests. And the king sent unto the footmen that stood about him, turn and slay the priest of the Lord, because their hand is with David, and because they knew when he fled. Listen, David and Abimelech, you remember the story of how David and Abimelech were together. And somebody, because Saul was killing prophets anyhow, Even though you are a man or a servant of God, so long you are not in his camp, he will take you out. Because some people heard the voice of God, that God has said the kingdom is moving to David. So they began to take sides with the incoming government. So they were taking side with him, and Saul became angry. He made up his mind, anybody that go close to David, he'll kill them. Yes, and he was doing that. That was when the Lord sent Samuel to the house of Jesse. In verse 2 of 1 Samuel 16, 1 Samuel 16 verse 2, Samuel said, if Saul hears it, he will kill me. Oh, you are not getting what I'm saying. If Saul hears, because they knew anyone that had anything to do with David, Saul kills them. He was killing the priest. Saul's reign was very toxic because Saul was looking for who to kill. So he had people that were spying on people to give him information. They were spying. Okay, let me show you a crisis. In 1 Samuel chapter 22, if you read from verse 7, let me escalate the situation to you. Then Saul said to someone that stood about him, hear ye Benjamites, with the son of Jesse, give every one of you fields and vineyards, and make you all captains. See the way he bribed the men around him. David is not a king. What can he give you? He can't give you vineyards, can't make you captains. Verse 8. You have conspired against me. There is none of you that showeth me that my son, Jonathan, had made a league with son of Jesse. None of you is sorry for me. Or show it unto me that my son has stirred up my servant against me, lying in wait as it is day. Now look at this. When you have a system that is toxic, a system that is hunting for targets, a system looking for scapegoats, a system that is always looking for how to victimize people, you are going to have people spying and snitching on each other. When you have a system where a leader is always using people as victims and scapegoats, it will raise up people that will be giving him lies, information that will ruin destinies. They say when a king listens to lies, all his servants are wicked. Go on, continue from verse 9. Listen to this story. Then answered Doeg the Edomite, which was set over the servants of Saul, and said, I saw the son of Jesse. Now, don't forget, he had massaged their ego. He had told them sweet words. Can David give you vineyards? Can David give you feed? You are not feeling sorry for me. You are here to watch after me. Can David make you a captain? Aye, sir. Excuse me, sir. Doeg, the Edomite, which was set over the servants of Saul, said, I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob, to Abimelech, the son of Ahitub. Abimelech was a major priest. Look at what he said, verse 10. And he inquired of the Lord for him. In other words, when David met Abimelech, he said, please ask God. What is God saying over certain matters? He said, he inquired of the Lord for him and gave him victuals and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistine. Then the king sent, as soon as he heard that, a spy, a stooge, had given him an information. He called Abimelech the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house. The priests that were in Nob, and they came all of them to the king. All right, go on. And Saul said, hear now the son of Ahitub. And he answered, here I am, my Lord. And Saul said to him, why have you conspired against me, thou and the son of Jesse? In that thou gave him bread, a sword, and has inquired of God for him. Don't talk to God for him. Why did you talk to God for him? That he should rise against me to lie in wait as it this day. Verse 14. Abimelech answered the king and said, who is so faithful among thy servants as David? Among your servants here, who is as faithful as that man that you want to kill? Which is the king's son-in-law? And goeth at thy bidding and is honorable in thine house. Did I then begin to inquire of God for him? Be it far from me. Let not the king. Now I'm going to tell you. Did Abimelech inquire of God for David? Okay, I will show you what happened. Leave that on the screen. Let not the king impute anything to his servant, nor to the house of my father. For thy servant knew nothing of all of this. Less or more. Go on. And the king said, thou shalt surely die, Abimelech, thou and all thy father's house. This, I'm telling you what, God's personal issue with Saul, this was different from the instructions God gave him. He offended God personally. So God said, how? He killed the priest. And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, turn and slay the priest of the Lord, because their hand also is with David, because they knew when he fled and did not show to me. But look at this. But the servants of the king will not put forth their hand to fall upon the priest. 18. And the king said to Doeg, the king of conspiracy, since you can spy on the priest, you can kill the priest. So turn down and fall upon the priest. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell upon the priest and slew on that one person. Slew on that day 75 persons that did wear the linen apron. The priest's garment was on them. Pia, 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 pia. He killed 85 priests. And Nob, the city of priests, is smooth. Not only did he stop there, he entered the city because that city was known for priesthood. He began to kill everybody. Look at what he did. He smote with the head of both men and women and children and sucklings and oxen and asses and sheep with the edge of the sword. And one of the sons of Abimelech, the son of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. He ran. Abiathar showed David that Saul had slain the Lord's priest. And David said to Abiathar, I knew it! That day when Doeg the Edomite was there, that he will surely tell Saul. There are people, once you see them, you know that the matter will escalate. Once you tell them anything, just get ready. You will see the repeat version from CNN. David said, when I saw him, I knew that Saul. Why not in 2025 prove people wrong? Prove people wrong that you are not a snitch. I have occasioned, David said, look at what I've done. I have occasioned the death of all the persons of thy father's house. Verse 23. Abide thou with me, fear not, for he that seeketh my life seeketh thy life. But with me thou shalt be what? In safeguard. 1 Samuel 21 verse 7. Okay, let's go to verse 5 or verse 4. Let me explain to you what happened between Abimelech and the priest answered and said, David and said, there's no common bread under my hand, but there's hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. And David answered the priest and said, of a truth, women have been kept from us. It's not we that kept ourselves from women. It is women. These 3 days since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common. Yea, though it was sanctified this day in the vessel. I'm trying to let you know what was escalated, what Doeg the Edomite saw. So the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread there but the show bread that was taken from the Lord to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. David ate bread that was meant for. Verse 7. Now a certain man of the servant of Saul was there, detained before the Lord. And his name was what? Okay, it was, now, did you now see the transaction between Abimelech and David? It was the issue of hunger. Where did he inquire of the Lord? Are you following what I'm talking about? So when Abimelech said, this thing you are saying, I am innocent, it was true. There are many gossips that have killed innocent souls. Many snitches. Anytime you sit down to mutilate people's character, you are killing people. Stay with the Lord. Stay with God.
If you were blessed by this video, please don't forget to like and share to family and loved ones via WhatsApp and here on Facebook. Also check my page for more videos like this. Let's spread the word of God to as many people as possible. The challenge starts now. See you in my next video.